day tomorrow.
Can we
and
come to
today.
order? Can we come to
Interview
order,
5
please?
people today. Tomorrow.
Order.
When did he get a gavel?
And they were supposed to.
I didn't know you had a gavel.
Yeah, I got a gavel.
He's a little timid with it.
First of all, this is the Washington Area Highway Transportation Committee meeting. It is
They
Monday,
can start their
June
clock
29th, 2026.
notifying their
Miller,
Here.
hey,
Wendell
in
Eckelkamp,
4 weeks, 6 weeks. Kirkwood was nice enough to
Gordon
get there in
Delaveras.
6 weeks.
Ray Frankenberg,
Here.
Bob Ingeman, Bill Stratman.
Here.
Mayor Hagedorn,
Here.
Mike Coulter, Sandy Lucy, L.B. Eckelkamp, Steve Sullentrop,
Here.
Kurt Norstall,
Here.
Mark Wessels, Jeff Niemeyer, Charles Stankovic.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
one nation, under God,
indivisible,
with liberty and justice for all.
Well, good morning. This morning, lots of our neighbors here. Good to see everyone, and hope we can have a good discussion of things that are going on with transportation. First item on the agenda is always the approval of the minutes from the previous month. Have a motion to approve them.
Second.
A motion and a second to approve them as presented. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. First item, going down our list, is Amtrak.
I have no report today. We have a more packed meeting coming up early September, so I can get some new ridership data and things like that, but things seem to be going smoothly.
How's the ridership? Has it increased, can you tell from? For the,
It's, well, last fiscal year it was up for sure, and so going through this one, we'll find out, get some year-end data. I think it goes through till June.
Are they bringing on some new stuff too, new equipment?
They were bringing, we got some new cars last year. We've got some, we had additional cars that were supposed to be on our routes for the World Cup cycle here. So I have not seen those, but I assume that they are following through with their plans to add additional cars for additional riders on that route.
Did the World Cup from Kansas City, did it affect the ridership at all?
I don't know just yet. I have not seen that data. Hopefully, well, I'm assuming I'll get that at our early September meeting. That we'll have more information about how that ultimately did affect it. There's certainly lots of people there.
Yeah.
Any comments?
One question, yeah, they decided not to add the extra train for the World Cup, but they are still considering it? Is that what we said last meeting?
Last time I spoke with them about it, they said it was not off the table. There was and they were disappointed that they did not add that trip for the World Cup cycle. But it was all about scheduling between Amtrak and the freight folks who own that railroad, and them not being able to come together with a schedule that supported that. But again, they did say that wasn't off the table, but that it was a difficult push to be able to get that extra space on the freightways. So I don't think that hurdle has disappeared, but they did not say that it was not going to happen. So I can ask those questions again in September and see where we get to with that.
Yeah, and then one other thing I'd like to bring up is the, between here and Kansas City, we have one track in 1 or 2 locations. I don't remember offhand. I'd be always curious as to, is there anything in the future of possibly adding another track in those areas where it has to go down to 1? So whenever we see trains just sitting there on the track, oftentimes they're waiting to phase through that 1 lane section. And just any discussion about that, I think it'd be good to hear.
Okay, I can ask those questions as well. Yeah, they talk a lot about the existing sidings that they have that allow one train to pass another during those things or those events, and that a lot of our that our freight rail tends to bring trains that are longer than those existing sidings. So they can't, in fact, pull over when they need to, or if that's required. So that's been a little bit of an issue, but they've been working together to make sure that passenger rail is still prioritized to the best that they can. So, but I can ask about additional construction as well.
You know, while we're talking about Amtrak, I mean, there is discussion and of improvements for passenger loading and stuff down here on the riverfront. Where's that going anymore? Have you heard any more
I
about it?
have not heard any more.
The
Craig, have you?
Well, they announced that they were doing our ADA improvements that had been approved. I think it was 2022, 2023, something like that. That they announced that the funding was going to be there and that we're going to do construction on that, but I have not heard.
It was
anything
major
on the
though,
plan.
wasn't it? Seemed like it was a.
It was a $3 million project, I
$3
think.
million to improve
So it's
passengers.
ADA
getting on.
improvements and it's extending a little bit of that platform and making that more accessible for.
It's
folks.
positive. It's positive for the
Yep,
future.
very much.
The
so.
entrance and the exit will be moved up towards the
Caboose.
caboose that's sitting there now,
I think that's correct.
so
Yeah.
spend a lot of money there.
And quite honestly, that's the reason that we continue, like yourself, Craig, we go to these meetings and we have a presence. The people that don't have a presence, there's no chance in getting this kind of things, and I attribute it, hopefully, to, that we're gonna get this done, and I attribute it to, us showing up for meetings at those kind of events.
Absolutely.
That's why we get the money we get.
Not to drag it out, I've got one more thing. I've got family that lives in Kirkwood, and they've been going through a big remodel on that station up there. I can't remember how many million it was, but it's kind of impressive the way they're coming in there and putting some money into that passenger system there. And that's the stop next to us, so maybe it'll move down to the west and get us in years to come.
That'd be nice.
I think they got some Amtrak funds. I think the city of Kirkwood added a lot of funds to that, knowing
Oh,
that station gets used quite a bit. So I hear in those same meetings that I go to that construction is slow, but they have a huge volunteer network up in Kirkwood actually that helps run that place and keep that thing going. And not that we don't have volunteers here at ours, but they have just a larger, more used station up there, and they have really impressive volunteer network. And when we talk at our MORPAC meetings, a lot of times all of the stations around look to those folks in Kirkwood to say, hey, how are you doing what you're doing, how you're staffing what you're staffing, how are you acquiring funding that you're getting. So yeah, we talked. They've been a great source of inspiration as to how we can help improve our local station as well.
Good.
Very good, very good. Keep it up. Keep staying with those meetings. Let us know if we can ever help by presence at those meetings for Washington, whenever it needs to be done, so whatever. Thank you, Craig. Missouri River Bridge access flood mitigation. It's always on the list and it's gonna go away till the river does. Charles, what do you got?
So the city's met with MoDOT, I guess twice now. Really just want to get them in the fold at this point, and really, if we're going to be doing stuff with Highway 47, obviously they're going to, have a lot to say with that and fund the project and stuff like that. So had a meeting with them, and then we also had a meeting with MoDOT and the Corps to kind of go over specifically options with them, if they would like to go that route of helping, go through the Corps for, another study or something like that. What are the options? MoDOT was looking into if they help participate, what kind of funds can they use? Can they use federal funds? Do they have to use state funds? Stuff like that. So they're trying to work out some things of how would they be able to fund a portion of a study, and that way they have say in it and what it looks like and where we go with that. So that's kind of where we're at, is working through, could we go through another study with the Corps, one of the ones we talked about, but also have MoDOT on board so they have their, their buy-in and their say, I guess, on what this looks like. So
we just wait for the river to come up, right? Joe, any comments on the?
Yeah, like I said, we kept met, just kind of talking about next steps. I think that's the main thing of, hey, we have a study, a high-level study.
Thanks. Yeah. So it gets recorded, Jeff, please.
Yeah, so, talking next steps. So, we have the high-level study with 4 alternatives, and, the Corps gave us their feedback on basically those 4 alternatives, and 2 of those alternatives really impacted a lot of the surrounding areas very high. Hey, if you throw a berm through there, it's gonna flood out quite a bit of people, affect the river, that sort of thing. So it became pretty obvious that 2 of those of the 4 were not really feasible, to move forward. So pretty much much. This next study would be more in-depth on, really, I think was alternative 3 was kind of the one that they said that they liked the best. That's pretty much kind of the causeway / berm that protects the airport and Highway 47. And there was kind of, hey, I think in the original study said it might need more look to see if you can extend it a little bit to basically protect Dutzell as well, kind of that whole bottom area. So
That's where you guys have a lot of concerns, right?
yeah, because I mean, that's where we see it. We see it flood kind of right there in that low spot at Dutzell first. We've always been like, okay, if we raise that spot, does that help us much, or does that just push it down the road
Yes.
20 feet and now you got a new spot flooding type thing? So I think that's really the goal. So we did ask the Corps to prepare basically a cost for a more in-depth study for 3 there, alternative 3. So they're supposed to be getting back with that. But like I said, we still got to do some checking, because I know a lot of times you can't do federal fund match on another federal program. You know, it's basically you're using federal funds to match federal funds. So we got to make sure that we can actually bring money to the table on this. And then typically, you know, for MoDOT funds, they have to be used on MoDOT right-of-way, while this is, you know, a berm, not necessarily on MoDOT right-of-way now. So, you know, how do we navigate that to get it funded? So that's kind of the conversations we've been having, but I think we had a good first meeting there with the Corps to at least, hey, what's the cost of giving us something we can actually get a good cost estimate? Because the original one just had a really rough cost, because we kind of need the cost, because most likely with the MoDOT funding in the Northeast, like, we'll have to basically go out for a grant for this eventually to, you know, fund it for construction. So, but you can't really do that until you know what it actually cost, you know. So that's kind of where we are. We'll see what the Corps comes back with, and we'll make sure to continually give you updates. But they said it'd be a couple weeks, you know. So that's kind of where we are on that one.
Well, we appreciate your help and your consideration in keeping this alive, keeping this whole thing. You know, it's gonna be easy to say, wow, we should have done something when the water is 4 foot deep in the airport again. But we just gotta stay on it. I think you're doing it the right way. You know, we got the studies done. They said they had to have a study. Well, we got the studies done. Now we've got another level. We keep going, but we're not letting go of it.
Yeah,
That's my consideration.
I know one of the big things when you're going for those big flood grant type studies, they're always looking at that economic impact. So I know that was one of the things that was kind of missing in that first study, you know, showing, hey, if we can kind of help this bottom, show that, hey, that it can grow, you know, that, hey, you start protecting several acres here, that it can form more businesses and that stuff, because that's the way you get the 100% money, going after that economic development factor, you know. Flood and safety is awesome, you know, that's a added bonus, but really when you get to that federal level, that's really what they're looking for those, you know,
Yeah, we gotta continue to work together, the county of Gasconade and Warren County and Franklin. Actually the whole county, to get this done. It's a long slosh, but I think we're gaining on it. I think there's, people know that it exists and the problem's there, and every time it rains, everybody's thinking, well, is this gonna be the?
Yeah,
one
for
that
sure,
pushes
because
it
like I
over?
said, school districts go across
School
there.
district, yes.
You got the hospitals here, you know, a lot of people rely on getting across there. So when
Key
it's flooded, it's a
consideration is the
huge
hospital.
impact.
The hospital has a area of responsibility, and that area across the river is their area of responsibility. And so they have they have an interest in this too, an important one. And I've reminded them many times not to let go of it, because it is part of, it's part of their area of responsibility. And so, that's important. So, and they have to medical up whatever they have to do because of the population that's over there. Anyway, that's just an add-on to another area that could be used to help get this thing off of dead center.
Yeah, that's kind of what we asked for in this next study is, I think it takes it to 10 to 20% design. That way you have a good footprint of what it'll look like. Then you can go out, you know, to the public too, because that's a big important thing of, hey, you don't wanna build anything that no one wants, so, by having something that you can actually show right-of-way lines on to landowners, that's a big deal.
Not to get off the subject of that, but on the new bridge, I go across there all the time, and I've made it mention, trash, just there's minor trash. Does anybody, do they ever sweep that? Do they ever come through and just get the debris that's on the bridge?
Yeah, so we usually do flush them. We do it once in the spring or once in the fall.
Yeah.
I know St. Louis District actually handles the bridge.
Yep.
and
I'm just curious. I mean, you got a beautiful new bridge coming in, and you see trash around it. It just drives me crazy. I want to stop and do it myself, but I'm afraid to because of the traffic. And one of the things.
Don't do it.
Yeah, no,
Don't do
I
it.
don't, and I don't, and that's the reason I bring it up at this meeting, and I can do that. So, anyway, are there drains on there? Because about every 20 feet, there's a patch of grass, and I guarantee you there ain't much water going through there, and hasn't for years. I'm just bringing up I see it. I want to go
like I
out there,
said,
and I want to go over there and just.
I know we always do it in the springtime because we want to get all that salt off. That's kind of the main thing. We always flush them in the spring and then we flush them in the fall. So,
So if there
twice
is-
a year,
those
we
are
should be
drains.
going out there with kind of your
There are
power.
drains and they are for use. There's a use for that, right? I mean, there's
Correct.
a value to that. They aren't being used because they're full of, I guarantee you.
We can have them evaluated.
That navigational channel, and I'm pretty sure it all comes to the Warren County side. It's kind of sloped where it all drains down to the end, and then there's a chute that drains it all off. So,
It's a comment. I see I kept driving by there and saying, why are those tufts of grass about every 10 or 20 feet? What the hell's going on here? Well, now I know. You guys aren't cleaning the drains. I'll leave it up to you. Not you necessarily.
Sure. Back to your studies, and I think I've asked this before, I just wanted to bring it up again, is there anything in the Corps' work or in MoDOT's work that provides some of the economic impact information that we're looking at that helps build this case, or are we looking at going to an outside firm to say, okay, this is what the economic, or do we need this more advanced drawing to look at that first?
The Corps, we're looking at like a state assistance grant for them, and, we bring money to the table, and they would put that in there. They kind of have where they've done it in other places. They mentioned a couple different places. They just did a big one down south where they've gotten that information, and they, basically use that information, because they, like I said, they're more experts in the flood kind of stuff than MoDOT is. I mean, we do a few of these projects, but probably not too many of these scale recently, while the Corps does them every day, so.
But yeah, they said they can, within this grant that we're looking at, they would do an economic.
Some of that
study,
scope
yeah.
is in there. Yeah, because I'm trying to figure out, do we need to come up with funding for that portion of it to help make this case? But if there's some in there, that's probably a great first step then. Okay.
Yeah, it seemed positive between the economic, they would be able to give us more of a cost estimate, plus MoDOT, they do a lot of this bigger work, construction work, causeways, they could refine that
Yeah,
cost
'cause
estimate as
kinda
well for construction.
They were gonna do some of the stuff, and we were gonna give them some more of the road work stuff, bridge costs, bridge square foot, that sort of thing. Because, with building a causeway, it's basically putting the road on columns through there to allow water still to flow through. But then as you come down closer, it switches to more of an earthen berm. Just to kind of get that into the bridge up and out. So, to kind of change how the Warren County would function, so.
Okay.
They were like, hey, they wanted help on that, and I was like, hey, I got plenty of bridge costs. We build those quite a bit, but I don't have one for a, big old berm coming across the bottom, that sort of thing.
It's exciting to hear that the economic study is going to be funded in that as well, because when I think about it as a regional thing, typically when you have a city, you get to draw a circle around it based on the population, and that's where your economy comes from. The schools, the hospitals, all of the industries, the commerce, the commercial, the shopping centers and so forth. So having that all in there, I think is going to have people say, wow, compared to the cost, we should get out here and fix this to make sure everybody can get in and out. So that's exciting to hear.
Another thing is, I'm often curious, why do we not have any signage that says entering the county, different counties, or is there a sign that I'm just not paying attention to?
I think there's a sign on the bridge.
There's a sign on the bridge.
It's-
One
it's
entering
right
Franklin
in the
County
middle
and
of
one
the
Warren
bridge.
County.
Right there.
Okay, I guess I don't pay attention to that.
Should say entering
why
Franklin
I
County.
brought her up.
on one side of the road.
Because you're looking at the grass.
I'm looking at the drains, I'm
Pretty sure
sorry.
it's right there on the barrier wall.
All right, is that pretty common, what we have, the signage coming into and out of it? It's
Yeah.
pretty much
Yes.
standard,
Yes.
MoDOT standards, okay.
Standard green, you know,
Got it.
entering the
Got it.
county sign.
Didn't know, asked the question. Yes, now I got the answer. Don't have to ask it anymore. Thank you, guys. Any comments? Guys, anybody? Hearing none, thank you. Thank you for the report. Good report. Franklin County Transportation Committee, is that number four?
No, we need number 3.
Number 3, Highway 47, application for STP.
So we have our application in. We were recommended by East West Gateway. We should know in August whether we have that awarded or not for the STP portion of it. But I'll turn it over to Jordan to give an update on, I guess, the 50/50 cost share and how that's going.
Yes, all that's going pretty well. We have that agreement and everything executed, so just waiting on the STP and East West Gateway. We'll alter that, do an addendum, so all of that funding is all together in one kind of contract and agreement there and everything. So everything's good and on pace as far as 47 goes. We're working on getting a newsletter out, so getting that all put together. And the next things that everybody will be seeing towards the end of the summer is we're gearing up for a new public meeting and everything. So we're going to gear up for that for the end of summer. So everybody will be invited, just the same way the rest of the process has been, of course. And we'll be talking about what the project will look like.
Moving forward.
Yes.
Anything else?
Nope, just staying for the next thing.
We're just waiting for the next shoe to drop? Yeah. Trying to get this thing done. All right, thank you. Franklin County Transportation Committee?
No real updates, other than the yearly grants for Franklin County are due, tomorrow at the end of the month. City already put theirs in, for Main Street project coming up in a couple of years, so.
We've got representatives in the county, if they have any comments to add to the discussion about what's going on at the county level. We'd love to hear your comments. We'd love to have you. It's great to see you here, and we'd love to have your input whenever you choose to bring it. So anyway,
And Charles, I believe you are the chair of that committee, right?
Yes.
Good.
good. All right, MoDOT Northeast District, Warren County. Thank you.
All right, so we're doing a little project on I-70. You've been through there. But we are gonna set girders tonight for the Route 47 bridge and tomorrow night from 7 PM to 7 AM. So we'll have kind of rolling lane drops there. So we'll have one lane drop and then kind of, you know, that delay there with the highway patrol running through there down to one lane there as we're setting those girders. I guess we've been trying to do that for about 2 weeks, so that project is slightly behind. Just seems like every time we go to set up, we were gonna do it Friday, and then it rained, and then, you know, we were gonna do it whatever other day, it just keeps raining, so that one's a little bit behind schedule. We're hoping to get that open mid-August, but I think they're gonna really be pushing that, try to get that open before school. So hopefully KCI can get some good weather and catch up on that one. But that's kind of how that project's going. Another bridge we're doing there is the Jonesburg Bridge. Emery Sapp's actually ahead of schedule on that. That was supposed to also open mid-August, but they were able to get their girders set about 2 weeks ago, and they started about 2 weeks before 47, and they caught just a little better weather, and we're looking to have a ribbon cutting there the end of July. So right now that whole overpass is shut down, ramps, everything. As they're bringing all that up, they had to raise everything up 2 foot to tie all that back in to get our clearance on 70. So that project's coming right along, and it'll be real nice once we get that one open. Like I said, I think we got the ribbon cutting for July 31st. So there at the Catholic church that sits on the corner there in Jonesburg. We're gonna have it right there, so that'll be good to get that done. Other things we've done on I-70, they've been paving the median area there quite a bit between Warrenton and Wright City. So we actually did do a lane shift here, I guess about a week and a half ago, where we now have a split. So if you're coming through there and you hit Strax, you got to pick either the right lane or the left lane. You split and you go around. So trucks keep right type thing. So as you're coming through that area, and then we have another split kind of planned for the Forestell area as well, going westbound. We haven't done that yet, but it'll be here in the next few weeks. So then the Forestell Bridge, the roundabouts are coming right along on that. Looking in probably into August for that one to open up. So they'll have that whole interchange open and going. So be nice. That one's been down for a while. And then, like I said, they've just been paving like crazy on I-70. One of the biggest milestones, we finally got approval from the railroad to start the railroad bridge in Wentzville. We'd been working on that for 7 years, so yeah, it was a kind of a party when we finally got approvals from them to do that project. So we're now green light on that, so we're coming right along. So you've seen them out there working on the piling and that sort of thing. We got to have that bridge up and going by November 1st to get the trains switched over, because this is the bypass bridge, and then demo the old one and build a wider new bridge. So that's kind of what I got going on I-70. Kind of think of any other projects I got going on. I think that's about it, kind of in the Warren County area, but that's enough. So it's busy. If you've been through there, of the 16 sections we were working on I-70, we kind of split them into about 2-mile sections. We're working in 14 of the 16, so quite a bit of work for sure.
Amazing. Awesome.
And then, I guess I can, on the Montgomery County section, which also kind of starts there at MM, we did shortlist our teams. So we went out for requests for proposals, and we have 4 teams interested, which is the most we've had in any project on the I-70 corridor. So being design build, we're putting another $580 million towards that section, that 44-mile section from Kingdom City to basically Warrenton there. So we got 4 interested teams, and we're now entering our one-on-one. So, it gets pretty quiet until we're looking at the November letting to award that project. So next spring we'll be starting on the next section of I-70. So moving right along to try to get everything finished up by the end of 2030.
Amazing. Wow. Just amazing what's happening up there on I-70. It's hard to even.
Like I said, it's a historic project for sure. Every time I drive through, it's just like, man, there's another 5 miles of concrete done, as long as it's not raining, But
Very good.
So 2030 is like the ultimate finish for Kansas City to St. Louis.
everything done by the end of 2030. So like for this Montgomery County, Warren County, this 44, like its end date is December of 2030, mainly due to we have another railroad bridge there at High Hill that we expect to be one of the last things that get done, just with all the extra coordination with the railroad.
Yeah, very good. Thank you for bringing us up to date and for your information, what you guys are doing up there on I-70.
Yeah, and like I said, you guys got any questions about projects, just hit me up.
You betcha.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Washington Special Road District. We need a representative from that, don't we? We need to get somebody to.
Wendell,
Wendell? Okay, I'll make a point.
call him too.
We'll call him.
Can you find out when the, looking at Gina here, they meet and where?
Are they meeting?
Yeah,
I think they have a regularly scheduled meeting
The third
quarterly or
Monday at 6 o'clock at the shed there on Pottery Road.
every Monday?
Third Monday of the month.
Okay. Never mind on the email then.
all right.
Well, it would be good to have their input.
Oh, I agree.
What's going on, and you're probably gonna do a lot of that work, whatever.
They pretty much finished up Pottery Road. I think that was their big push. They were getting about 700,000-800,000 out of the county, and they did it in phases, and the last phase got completed. So I don't really know what their next push is, where they would go for expansion in the road district. I know they acquired, I think, some more road frontage going towards Highway V, out towards, I guess, Goods Mill. I think they took in a couple more miles of Goods Mill Road. So, yeah, it would be good to know where the road district stands now that the, Padre Road was like a 7-year project that it got completed, so.
Yep. So Wendell, we'll try to get ahold of Wendell.
I think Kevin Mooney's also on there, isn't he?
I don't know. I can check.
Yeah.
Well, if you see either one of them, Kirk, would you pass it on?
Yeah, I can ask him,
Just a reminder that you're
tell him,
on-
hey, we'd like to
you're
see
part of this.
representation.
Yeah, you're on this committee and.
Yeah,
and-
okay,
and
yeah,
we'd
I'll check
love
that
to
out.
have their
I'll report back next month.
Very good, thank you, take care.
Hearing Pottery Road, I drove that for the first time in probably a year or two the other day, and it looks really good, and there's a lot of remodeling on the houses and quite a few new houses going up along there too. So if you haven't had a chance to drive Pottery Road, it's nice to see what's happening in the community out there.
Who was the gentleman, Mr. Lousy, was it, to push for that stoplight at,
Oh, yeah.
forever and ever and ever? Unfortunately now, because Pottery Road is such a nice road, in the mornings, a lot of traffic going to the factories.
Yes.
Coming out of Union, St. Clair, they're using Padre Road, so you're gonna have to plug some money in, Jordan, for a double left turn lane there. A lot of people are taking that now, so.
Yeah.
And so it used to be 3 cars, now it's like 8 cars, 9 cars, 10 cars backed up, making a left from northbound going to west onto 100.
Should we add that to our list of items to?
It's, again,
It's a major
I
intersection, and I think we should just-
forward that to Jordan as a, when that, if you get some traffic information out there, put some crossings that record how much car traffic you're seeing there.
Traffic
At peak
study.
times, traffic study at that intersection.
Talking about at A in Pottery or at 100 in Pottery?
Pottery and 100, you're getting a lot of traffic cutting
Stacked.
through
Yeah.
and going to the, coming from the Croco area and going to the industrial track,
That intersection had a real problem with people getting hurt and injured and killed and whatever. And we don't hear much about it anymore after that.
That would be at A, right?
Yeah.
Pottery and A you're talking about, yeah.
Yeah. But that was a big deal to get that intersection done, where it's at today. What was his first name? Lousy, he showed up for every meeting.
Red hair.
And he pushed it.
Red
He pushed it, improving that intersection.
Yeah.
Years, as I recall.
Norm
Norm.
Lousy
Norm
pushed for that.
Lousy.
Norm Lousy solely took that on and got
He
the
took it on,
stoplight
he got it
at
done.
Padre and Highway 100. He made it his life mission to get it done, and it's definitely made it safer.
He did.
But
Another problem on the other side, on the other end of it, if you're going south on Pottery Road now to get onto A, if you're an old man like I am, it's almost impossible to look left and see cars coming over the hill on Dead Man's Curve. It's because it angles straight into it rather
Yep.
than a T intersection, It's dangerous, I think.
And up at Pottery and Highway A, or pardon me, Pottery and Highway 100, they've added that intersection, was that Don Avenue that comes through from the, so there's more traffic that is using that. And it does, I have seen stacking issues there with people trying to get out and get into a turn lane to go. So, yeah, it'd be worth a study if it's something that is available to us.
Well, I think the city's gonna do some improvements there at High Street and 100.
At High Street and 100,
High
yes.
Street for sure, yeah, this is the other end of that development then.
The other end of that.
Mhm.
Anything else? Old Highway 100 Bridge,
There's no update on that. We're still working on design.
and when's that scheduled to be replaced, or do they have a date on it?
It should be in fiscal year 27 here, which actually starts this week on July 1st. But the actual date, I'd have to dig into my files and figure out when. But it'll be coming soon.
It's coming. Now, and the last discussion I remember was we didn't need bike paths. Is that how you understood it, or
I believe that was what the
I think that's what we
committee discussed.
kind of discussed, the fact that let's get the bridge done and
Yes.
Yep.
I believe, taking a look at the east, it was difficult to continue with those.
yeah, you got the cuts through there and it's gonna be impossible. Anyway, just to bring you, that's, anyway, airport.
We got good news. The runway project is completed out there. They got it striped the other week, and it's open back up. So we got full traffic that can go up, move in and out of there now. We got a final walkthrough this week to kind of wrap things up. But I don't think we have updated numbers in your packet from last month from the airport, but we'll have them at the next meeting, and we should see an uptick now that, like I said, everything's opened up and we get some of the bigger aircrafts in there and everything, so.
Very good. That'll help bring
Yep,
in larger aircraft, is what you, yes, good, fantastic. If anybody hasn't been over to the airport, and I was remiss, I hadn't been over there for years, just go over there and look what's there, and get a tour. You'll get a tour if you ask for it. It's a remarkable area, what we've got there. It's a jewel, really, when you think about a town this size having an airport like that. I was taken back, just being there around it and the activity and what's going on with it. I think we'd ought to have a meeting out there, transportation meeting out there sometime. I think it's important that the community sees what's there. And how many times, I mean, I lived here my whole life and I hadn't been in it more than twice. And once was to see the mark on the wall where the water was, okay? It's 4 foot high, inside the building, they got a mark. So, anyway. That's it, thank you. Team track, anything happening on that? I'm surprised that sits there and we don't get the activity or an industry that can find that team track rail system and bring a business with them, I guess, is kind of interesting.
I think there's more than we know. I mean, it would be nice if we could just have a little summary of some sort on it, but it's pretty easy for the industries to use it and go out and like load something that can't be shipped on the highway. I know WEG uses it, but I don't know how often. But they've got crane trucks that'll respond out there and put them on low boys that they can get them through the industrial park out there, and then they lift them onto the train cars and hook them up. And that's stuff that they used to have to try and do down here on the riverfront on Front Street, and it was just kind of a mess. But now it's all big concrete maneuvering areas, and we can load those cars pretty easy. So I believe there's traffic on it, but it'd be nice to have an idea of how much.
Yeah, so it has an economic impact, a positive impact.
Yes.
It wasn't just put in there and not being used. That's my.
And it's continuous. It allows our industries to handle things that could not be handled in this region before, because we can build them, we can get them to the team track to load them and ship them on off to either coast.
Aaron, you want to comment on what you do with
Yeah.
your search?
There you go.
Good morning, everybody. Yes, to your point, Ray, I think there's more industries that utilize the Team Track facility than we think. I know, obviously, for most industries, they would love to have the rail right up to their building. But yes, I think, WEG was mentioned. I think WEG is one of them that uses the Team Track, and there's some other industries as well. So I'm happy to put that report together
That'd
for
be
you
awesome.
guys.
That'd be
So,
great.
Yep.
I think it'll surprise us. Thank you. East-West Parkway, no update. Public transportation. Guys?
I don't see Taylor, so I guess it's
Taylor?
me.
Yeah, you can do it.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so you guys know that Oates' fiscal year is along with everybody else. Our last day is the last day of June. So I was just gonna give a quick roundabout of our intercity trips going to St. Louis, what we've done this past year. St. Clair, we've taken 20 people into somewhere on the transportation system, whether it be the airport, the bigger hospitals, or the intermodal transportation center in St. Louis. That's where all my numbers are gonna come from. Union, we service 14 individuals. New Haven was 12. Pacific was 6. Catawissa was 2. And then Washington was 8. And then outside of Franklin County, we were able to help out 31 people in Bourbon, Missouri, and 27 people in Eureka, Missouri, to get transportation in towards the city. It equaled out about 2 trips a week for our whole, fiscal year, because we still have 2 pending for service that these folks wouldn't have gotten into St. Louis for more services that's needed. So I feel like it's been a really good turnaround, honestly. I don't know how much more we could do than 2 trips a week, because a lot of my drivers, God love them, but they don't like to drive in the city either, every single day. So, and obviously we have other routes we do here locally. But yeah, I think it's a good thing, and like I said before, we have the funds to do it at least until 2028. So hopefully we'll just keep increasing, but we have serviced a lot of people, like I said, even out of Franklin County, get them to where they need to go. So it's been great.
Well, continue to bring that information to this
Yeah.
committee, and it does get reported on. I mean, the reporters are generally here taking things like this and reporting them, making stories out of them. And I think what you're doing is important for the community.
Yeah, well, and you don't know until you know, so.
That's right.
I tell everybody, I'm like, even if you need your ride for the airport, who better to drop you off at your terminal? You know what I mean? And then you don't have to worry about your luggage and your parking, so. We've done a lot more of that here in the past couple of months, because this is the season for travel, so.
And the funding for what you guys do is done through the federal government, is that correct?
Yeah, we got a special grant for that, so it's $10 a person to ride one way, and then the grant covers, I guess, the rest. So, yeah. I mean, you can't even pay for your own gas that cheap, so.
Unbelievable. Chief, yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for the report, and continue to bring that report to the
Oh, yeah,
committee, please.
absolutely.
Scheduling, how do you schedule something like this?
So when we first put it together, we anticipated if the volume got so high, we would do more like commuter lot pickup and drop-offs. But Oats is door-to-door service, so you just give us a call and we put you on the schedule. We come to everyone's house as of now. If we ever get too big, then we'll have to do more of a commuter parking pickup and more of a schedule. But really our hours are 5:30 in the morning to 5 at night, Monday through Friday. So if your trip falls in that category, then hopefully we'll be able to help you out.
How far ahead of time do people need to call?
Well, I always tell everybody, call as soon as you know, or you need a flight or whatnot, because depending on the day, we might be booked up. So I'm always hiring drivers. But the needs for the community are so high with our disability folks and other locations opening up more places for our disability folks. I feel like that's where all my drivers end up going, which is a great thing because we're helping more individuals too. But yeah, I'll forever be hiring drivers because the need is so high in the community.
So you're telling everybody we can take a mid-morning flight, avoid paying $100+ to park our car there, and get a ride home with you guys if we get in before 5.
Yeah,
I can do that.
yeah.
That sounds
I
good.
tell everybody,
That
don't ever
does.
fly home on the weekend. Just wait until Monday morning. You'll save money anyway. So
Great.
definitely give us a call. We'll help whoever we can.
But calling a couple days ahead of time would be advisable, that way.
Yeah, we usually schedule our trips 24 to 48 hours in advance. So, like I said, if you book your trip and you know you're flying, I would just call. I mean, we can pretty much put something on our schedule as a placeholder for like up to 3 months in advance, so.
Can you announce your phone number again, please?
Sure. It's 636-583-1125. Now, when you guys call, press option 3 as soon as you call so you can get to a human, okay?
Cool.
We have an AI system that helps cancel trips, but you don't want to, you want to deal with an actual human. So press 3. We'll help you out.
Thank you.
Very
All right,
good.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much for the report.
Dang,
Yeah.
that's an option.
Any other business? Anybody?
I do want to make the announcement that next Tuesday, July 7th, from 4:30 to 6:30. East West Gateway Council of Governments is actually going to be hosting one of their transportation improvement program meetings here in the City Hall of Washington. So that's kind of the start of their tour to unveil their new TIP, as they call it, Transportation Improvement Program. So, of course, everybody will be able to have public comment on that and everything. So it is online the same way that MoDOT does theirs, but also they'll have a public meeting here.
What's the date?
The 7th.
What
Tuesday the 7th.
What time?
4:30 to 6:30.
I think Gina sent an email on that a week or two ago, didn't you?
Yes.
Anything else? Anybody got anything else? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion.
To adjourn. We have a motion to adjourn. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. We're done. Thank you all for coming.
Thanks for being here, Dan. Thank you. Yeah, appreciate you.
Good, how about you?
Illness?
Refreshing.
Yeah, I was doing real well, and then I missed.